Okay, so how can spaghetti waves be used? There's a number of ways to interpret this, and I'll go through a couple of these. In a general sense, as I already indicated, you get a sense of uncertainty in any swell event. I have a couple examples here. I think one is Atlantic City with Ben Gravy's local. And the bottom one here is actually Barbados, where I'm going to go in a couple days. So this is of high interest to me. And it's pretty clear on these when you look through different forecasts that the models are very close for the first few days. And then in a lot of cases, you see spread. So when you start seeing that spread, the initial reaction should be, the forecast is less certain. Forecast is up in the air in some cases. If you look in New Jersey, after about 10 days, the models are all over the place. So in that case, I would not really rely on any modeling. This is true for any of the surf modeling sites out there, Surfline, Surf Captain. We're all using similar data. It's how we present the data, I think, where the value is. And we're presenting more data, and we're actually showing you when you should not trust our modeling. So I don't think any other sites do that. The next is trends in swell magnitude and range. So even for the near-term forecast, you might see some variability. Some models may be a little bit higher in the surf height, and some may be a little bit lower. You can kind of use that to your advantage and have a better sense of what range of wave. I wouldn't use this as much in the long term because we're measuring uncertainty completely in the generation of the waves. But in the short term, these different models may have slightly stronger winds or slightly weaker winds, or the wind direction's more favorable, where the fetch is a little bit longer, so it can affect the magnitude. So this is more in the short term. Another thing is, and this is what interests me a lot, is you could see trends in the swell event window. And I have temporal here, which means timing. So we always, a swell peaks and then it diminishes. And when you look at an ensemble, you could see if the swell is going to peak a little bit earlier or a little bit later, if the trend is towards one of those directions, or if the trend is, on target for a specific time. You can get that with this type of ensemble modeling. Another thing is, some of these tie together a little bit, but understanding the forecast window. So when I say forecast window, I say the window in time into the future when the forecast is fairly certain. So if you have tremendous spread out past 7 days, your forecast window is really 6 or 7 days. You can't really trust the models after that. So this type of display, this type of presentation of the data, of the surf estimate, can help us understand the forecast window. And this next point is something that I'm starting to see in the data more and more. We can identify signals of potential swells in the future, even if there's a lot of uncertainty. For example, here, the New Jersey analysis here, out about 12 or 13 days, we have one of the models has a huge peak. What I'll do is I'll keep this in mind, and over the next day, as new forecasts come in and new models, and we get new model data, I'll look to see if other models start trending towards this peak. So we can actually see signals of potential storms or potential swells in the future looking at this. Another example here in New Jersey is this period here about 10 days out. The best estimate model actually is lower in the surf height versus some other models here. And the timing, this gets back to the trend in the swell event window when it's going to peak is different. So you start seeing these different model solutions and you can kind of get an idea of what may occur. So it looks fairly certain something may occur in this time period here, but we would need, a couple more model runs and to see if all the models kind of coalesce around this swell event. And the cool add-on features for the wind, uh, the wind favorability, the current, the wave energy. I'm going to add wave energy and wave consistency to these indices down here so we have even more information. But these features allow us to look for favorable periods in the future and then try to link those with swells that are, big enough to surf, even if it's a longboard day or a shortboard day. We can kind of target periods where the wind's favorable and there's swell. So these add-on features I think are beneficial, and all the surf sites have some of these features. I think our indices, our continuous wind favorability and our longshore current model are unique and one of the better, if not the best, out there. So on that point, this past weekend I did go to Wrightsville Beach and I surfed, and it was head high. I caught it right around 4 o'clock as the winds were shifting more offshore. It was still like a southwest wind, so there, like I said, there was going to be a lot of current, and there was a lot of current. It was consistent paddling. The guys were ripping out there. There were some really nice head high sets that were rolling through. The current was strong, but with that, the waves were just peeling off, and there was nice sections. Guys were just ripping top to bottom on the wave, right in the pocket, and jamming some of the end sections nicely. So that was really cool to watch and be a part of. Not that I surf as well as there's a lot of good surfers in Wrightsville Beach. I think the forecast was pretty much on target. My early forecast had the winds shifting a little earlier in the day, but as we got within 2 days of the event, it looked like, the winds weren't going to switch completely offshore before sunset, and that was the case. But it was one of the better swells that I've surfed in the last month or month and a half, I think.